Hello, everyone. So we got through chapter 1 in Matthew. Today we're going to begin chapter 2. Thankfully they don't have all those difficult names to pronounce. This should be a little bit easier to read. And I also took some notes in some important areas of Matthew chapter 2 to go over as well. So let's get started. So now after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the times of Herod the king, behold, wise men from east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star when it rose, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them, where the Christ was to be born. They told him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written by the prophet, And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler, who will shepherd my people in Israel. So a couple key factors in those first 6 verses that I found of importance. The first one, where he specifies Bethlehem of Judea. I feel like this is important because there was another Bethlehem just a little bit north in the tribe of Zebulun. By pinpointing Judea, Matthew connects Jesus to the ancestral home of King David in the prophecy in Micah 5:2. Also, Judea is the Greek form of Judah, the tribe of kings. This reinforces Jesus' legal right to the throne. And let's see, there was another. I guess the other importance would be the Star of Jacob. The Magi, they've known this prophecy from Numbers 24:17. A star shall come out of Judah, and the scepter shall rise out of Israel. So those are the first couple key factors of the first 6 verses. Then, so let's get started back with 7. Then Herod summoned the wise men secretly, and ascertained from them what time the star had appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, that I too may come and worship him. After listening to the king, they went on their own way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it arose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell and worshipped him. Then opening the treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed their own country by another way. So we'll pause there for a second. I think it's important. Herod was a great and brilliant builder, but a paranoid madman. He had certainly killed his own sons and wives. Killing a rival king was standard procedure for him. Then I think we need to note about the moving star. The star went before them and stood over the house, which this isn't, astrology. This isn't a standard, planetary alignment. It's obviously the supernatural work of God doing this. It moved and stopped, as it was basically acting as a GPS, the way I look at it. Then if we're talking a little bit in my church today about treasure, but the treasure they're talking about here is gold and frankincense, which that symbolizes royalty and divinity. Myrrh's that's an herb used for burial typically. Then we go back to Isaiah chapter 60, verse 6. That prophesies the future kingdom where people will bring gold and frankincense. But I kind of wonder why, the myrrh is missing from that prophecy. Maybe it's because the future kingdom, the suffering of Christ is always finished. That's one way I could look at that. So let's go on with verse 13. Now then they had departed. Behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, Rise, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him. And he arose and took the child and his mother by night and departed to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what the Lord has spoken by the prophet. Out of Egypt I call you my sons. Here Herod ordered the slaughter, but the soldiers were carrying it out. This just kind of highlights the darkness of the world, Jesus was born into, and, still some of the darkness that we were born into. Then Matthew quotes Jeremiah 31:15, from Rachel, which is Jacob's wife. Rachel was a symbolic mother of the nations. Just as there was weeping when the Jews were exiled to Babylon, there was weeping now as the Messiah's life is sought. So then we'll go on to the return of Nazareth here in verse 19. But when Herod died, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Rise, take the child and his mother, and go to the land of Israel, for those sought the child's life are dead. And he rose and took the child and his mother and went to the land of Israel. But when he heard that Archelaus was reigning over Judea in place of his father Herod, he was afraid to go there, and being warned in a dream, he withdrew to the district of Galilee, and went and lived in a city called Nazareth. So what was spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled, that he would be called a Nazarene. Archelaus, that he was just as violent as his father. He was, I think it was mentioned that, he slaughtered, 3,000 people right at the start of his reign. So he's not in a better situation with, Herod gone. And, the word Nazarene, that's not found in the Old Testament. It was kind of a derogatory term in the culture, saying, can anything good come out of Nazareth? John 1:46 was like calling somebody like a low class or uneducated. By living in Nazareth, Jesus fulfilled, the prophets, like Isaiah 53, that he would be despised and rejected. Then, lastly on this one, we hear, Emmanuel, and we hear Nazarene. These are, two responses to Jesus. Some see him as God with us, which is Emmanuel, while others dismiss him as Nazarene, someone not worth their time. So, it depends on what side you're on. And obviously, we're all on Christ's side. So that'll be all. I'll return for chapter 3.